All right, this is the last fan standing. We're talking with Victor Morris. Tell me about yourself.
Well, I'm Victor Morris, originally from Deerfield, Florida. Graduate of Ely High School, alumni University of Miami. Basically grew up in a sports-minded family. Watched uncles play football, run track, play basketball. Cooked at an early age. I love it all. Swimming, soccer, parcheesi, anything that's competition related. Dominoes, spades, you name it. If it's a W to be had, I'm in.
So what made you fall in love with sports?
What made me fall in love with sports? Probably my dad. My dad was in the military, and he did some amateur boxing while he was in the military. And I remember he boxed a guy who was professional, Ingemar Johansson, I believe his name was, when he was in the military. And this guy was supposed to be a pretty big deal. I think he had fought Ali at one point. And my dad, beat him up pretty good. And, the excitement on his face when he was telling the story, and the excitement on everybody else's face when they was hearing the story, kind of elevated him to sort of like a little local demigod type of status. And I was like, man, I want to be that guy. I want people to, to look at me and all like they was looking at my dad and all. So, I think that kind of got me hooked. Then as a youth, I watched a lot of the local athletes have some success at the high school and at the college level, and that just really pushed me to want to do bigger and better things on the athletic fields.
Okay, so what makes you a good judge to find Miami's biggest sports ring?
I've been in Miami since August the 7th of 1982. Basically was the first day of camp my freshman year at the University of Miami. And I've been here ever since. I was at the epicenter of the founding of a dynasty here in Miami with the University of Miami football team. I've actually got a national championship ring from the first national championship team, and have, in some way, form or fashion, been a part of everyone since then. And, I'm big on the University of Miami sports. I actually had one of the first Heat players, Pearl, would sleep on my sofa in North Bay Village back when the Heat first started their franchise. I'm real good friends with a lawyer who did a lot of the legal work that set the foundation for the Miami Heat to come into town. So, I spent a little time with the Dolphins, and I'm real big on South Florida sports, the high school scene, the college scene, the professional scene, whatever. And I remember back before the Miami Marlins when we had a semi-pro baseball team that was all the rage. It was over by Miami Jackson Hospital, played over there in that field. And I'm pretty steeped in the local sports scene.
So with all the champions or the championships that have been coming to Miami as of late, how do you identify the bandwagon fans?
Well, I think they can be, usually weeded out in a couple questions. The true fans, have a lot of behind-the-scene knowledge, a lot of the, in-depth and a lot of the rare knowledge as far as, the teams are concerned. The bandwagon is, you ask them who's the starter lineup from the Miami Heat for the first championship team, and they'll tell you Dwayne Wade. A lot of them will forget about Shaq. They'll forget about Alonzo Mourning and, some of the other players who were on that team. And, you can tell, what I call the snapback fans. They'll buy a snapback and a T-shirt, and, scream the one player on the team whose name they know, repeatedly, even if he's on the bench.
All right, I got one more question for you. This is very important. What is the ultimate tailgating menu?
Ultimate tailgating menu? I'm kind of a traditionalist when it goes to tailgating. First of all, you gotta have some wings. You gotta have some hot wings, buffalo wings. You gotta have some wings. You gotta have some chips and some dip. Personally, I like a little heavier fare, so I'll go with some macaroni and cheese with some lobster, some crab thrown in. Just to keep people a little off balance. gotta have the hamburgers, gotta have some Angus beef on the grill. You understand? You know, a few vegetables, you know, just for the vegans, but not too many. You know, it's basically a red meat fare. You know, so you know, you gotta have some ice cold beverages, both kiddie and adult beverages. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? And you got to have a grill, of course, and you got to have, you know, some team colors flying. You got to have some paraphernalia. You know, maybe a radio blast in a pregame show, preferably AM radio, because they're the best hosts in my opinion. You know, just to get, you know, the mouth foaming and get the froth built up and, you know, get everybody into that frenzy and get them amped up and ready to go for kickoff or tip-off or for the opening pitch or whatever you may have at that different venue.
All right, one more. What tips do you have for the people who are going to be sending in videos trying to convince you that they the biggest fans down here? Because I know everybody got somebody they know that swear up and down they the biggest fan in the entire universe, bar none.
I've got several friends myself who would like to consider themselves in that category but aren't. First of all, you know, just because you got a couple jerseys in your closet does not make you a big fan. You need to have some in-depth, behind-the-scenes info on your team. You know, if you're a Barry Sanders fan, you got to tell me what size shoe he wore and what his major was in college. You understand? If you tell me that you're a Boston Celtics fan, then, you know, you got to tell me, you know, a little bit more about, you know, Kevin Garnett or Kevin McHale or Larry Bird than I can pick up on a quick Google search. You understand? I mean, everybody knows he's from French Lick. But, you know, what street did he live on? What's his mama's name? You know, what was his girlfriend's name in high school? You know, if you're a real true fan and you want to compete, then you're going to have to come with it outside of just that quick little Google search. And, you know, this ain't like, you know, a lot of those different TV game shows where they'll give you a list of possible answers to study before the competition so that you can seem like a genius. You know, if you bring it, if you got it, you'll bring it. If you don't have it, then, you know, chances are you might want to stay on the sidelines and not embarrass yourself.
Hey, even people on the sidelines get rings too.
Yeah, people on the bench get the rings. People on the sidelines, you know, you can buy that look-like ring from, you know, Herb Jones, but, you know, it's a different cut and it's a different stone. You know, there's a difference between being in the in crowd and being on the bandwagon crowd.
All right, well, thank you, Victor Morris. Appreciate you on your time.
Thank you.
All right, we'll check you out later.
Yes.